It doesn't need a paint correction. I think it's gonna, you can see like, watch, do it the spit test. Now that the seat's back, so see how faded it is in here? All right, we are ready to bring this plastic back to life. I'm just gonna grind it. This right here is a 2005 Chevy Trail Blazer that I paid just $700 for. Odd, I didn't even know $700 cars still exist. It honestly has $700 worth of tires on it. And I was strolling through a dealer auction last week and I just raised my hand. I haven't bought a car under $1,000 since pre-COVID. So it blew my mind. I just made the assumption that this thing is gonna be a total rat. I shouldn't buy it, it's not worth it. It's actually pretty nice. And in today's video, we're gonna bring this Trailblazer that's not terribly ugly, but also not terribly pretty either. We're gonna bring this thing back to life, and then we're gonna see how much we can sell it for at the end of this video. And I'm gonna teach you everything along the way because we have some new guys at the shop that we're gonna walk through this car and explain how they should do it, which is a perfect segue into showing you how we would do it. So you're gonna learn step by step how we're gonna bring this car back to life and sell it for a profit to keep this business alive. My name is Craig from Flying Wheels. Let's get going. $159,000 miles. I didn't look at this. I bought this sight unseen, but it's pretty clean. Good tires. Those tires are worth what I paid for this car. Fairly clean on the inside. Yeah. Started right up. Any engine? Right third row seat. Look at that. Any engine lights or anything? No. No? She's quiet. Four-wheel drive going into winter. Guess what I paid for this? $700 plus the fees. So like $850, $900 for this car. All right, fellas. So this 2007 Chevy Trail Blazer, we kind of already started going through everything, but because of the explanation, I thought it would be better to just put it on camera and start it over. So we're gonna explain how to do a headlight correction on this Trail Blazer. And then the lower bumper is super, super faded. So it's the first thing you see when you look at this is like multicolored faded gray. We're gonna bring that back to life. Touch this blue up. Easy, easy. Like I told you, I don't spray paint. Like spray paint's a car dealer's best friend. I don't spray paint anything from like this trim up because it is an eyesore. It's like a highlighter to a car. Don't ever spray paint anything from here up. But down low, they're low spots. It's really not a big deal. And corners of bumpers, I'll get color matched and I'll just dust it on. Then a couple little chip spots that we can just touch up. I'm not gonna spray paint again because it's up above, it's like waist height. We can just take some blue, which I bet I have from that Audi that we used, and do it right there. I discussed this, so I would tape this bumper from here up, and we're gonna texture coat this black with like a spray can like type of truck bed coating. It has a perfect satin sheen that always looks good on trim black. People are gonna pick on me. I know you're gonna pick on me. Wow, the guy sprays his cars with truck bed coating. Wait till you see how good it looks when we're done. We already discussed the wheels. We're gonna do the wheels. The bottom trim, if you're doing that, I would say do that too. And you don't even need to tape off the wheels. You don't even need to tape off the doors. Jim, we talked about the spray shield. The spray shield is like a big giant paint shield with a handle. I can hold it right up against the blue. If I'm doing smaller areas, I'll use like those plastic license plates that people put on the front of the cars, and I'll just spray low. Again, it's a low area, so it really doesn't make a big deal. If you were ever gonna spray stuff like this, it gets overspray everywhere. So like you have to mask everything off if you're spraying anything up here. All right, again, the wheels we discussed. I would say we're gonna do the same to these plastics, okay? So hit these plastics as well. The bodywork isn't too difficult. Now this is an old car and it's not gonna be a lot of money. So don't judge us based on our rust repair. If it was a $10,000 car, we'd do some welding, we'd do some serious repair. This, we're gonna grind out as much rust as we can. We're gonna make it an affordable car, and the thing is, the more money you spend, the more money you have to sell it for. So everybody says, what's your best price? What's your best price? Everybody cares about best price. So if we're overspending, our best price is gonna be higher, and then people aren't gonna like that. So we're gonna do a little bit of rust repair up here, which we'll show you guys how to do. Oh, nice, look what arrived today. My lunches for the whole week. These are my pre-made meals. I'm not a meal prepper, I don't have the time for it. So Factor, I can order everything online. It's fresh, not frozen meals that I can pop in the microwave for a few minutes and they're good. I have peanut Buddha bowl, black pepper and sage pork chop, sun-dried tomato and spinach fusilli, queso fundido, spinach and mushroom chicken thighs, and jalapeno lime cheddar chicken. This is actually my favorite. They arrive in ice packs, so everything is cold. I pop it in the fridge and I have meals for the entire week. Comes with smoothies. This is a strawberry banana smoothie, mango smoothie. I even got some protein shakes that I ordered. I get my lunches prepped for me and they show up and that's it. I go online, I order, they have vegan options, They have vegetarian options, they have fish options, meat options. Honestly, the quality every time, it like astounds me how good the food is. Absolutely, I highly recommend Factor. I'm eating my Factor lunch, which is incredible, on my 1984 Honda CB125 that my grandfather, Papa Al, bought me for my first birthday back in the 80s. If you want to try Factor yourself, honestly, there's a link in the description and you can use code FlyingWheels50 for 50% off your first order. Full cleaning, blow it out first with the Typhoon. I love that high pressure air gun. I'm gonna blow everything out of this car with all the doors open, with the seats up, with the seats down. Sometimes people forget to lower the seats after they do it. So you're gonna blow this whole car out and then you're gonna fold this seat down and find out there's even more stuff. The high pressure air gun works better than the vacuum to start because you can spray it right through here and blast everything out, okay? Then going to this side, I think we're pretty much there. When we do the detailing, make sure you're doing all the jams, open up the gas door, and we're gonna do a full polish. It does not need a paint correction. We are gonna degrease like on the inside of all this stuff and get all that nastiness out. We'll try to get that stain out of there. You're gonna have to soak that stain, like really soak it and then try to extract it. We'll see what we can do with it. I do have fabric dye. Sometimes I can dye the carpets to match instead of like if the stains just don't come out, but that's the last resort. It doesn't need a paint correction. I think it's gonna, you can see like, watch, do it the spit test. That's probably what it's gonna look like after a polish. So I'm gonna leave you guys to lunch. You guys can delegate yourselves, decide what you wanna do. If you do something cool, let me know so I can show everybody else what we're doing that is cool. And that's it, our 2007 Chevy Trail Blazer before.
A few moments later.
All right, so these headlights came out amazing. I've done videos on how to do headlight restorations. I didn't do it in this video, but I'll give a brief explanation. They make headlight kits for like $15, $16. You can buy them everywhere, and they're well worth it. You don't need to pay somebody $80 an hour unless your time is worth that. You can do it yourself. Now, the kit comes with sandpaper. You'll usually use like a 500 and then an 800. You keep it wet sanded. Wet sanding means you keep it wet while you're sanding. I put the attachment on my drill, and I just sand the headlight, and it kind of comes off yellow. Then it goes from yellow to like white, and then it goes from white to clear. Once it goes like the water running off, it's like a haze. When it goes to like a clear, move on to the next step of sandpaper. So I go from the 800 to the 1500. After the 1500, the kits come with pads. So I use a rubbing compound pad, and then I use a polish pad. Now the kits usually only have like one compound. I like to use a rubbing compound, then I like to use a polish. And this is what they look like when they're finished. So already just tremendous results. And the guys are going at it, cleaning the inside right now, and just doing a great job. Okay, we use high pressure air, so I say this all the time. I just blow everything right out of the car before I even attempt to vacuum, and you can see everything. I think you can see everything up in the air, especially with like pet fur. All right, we are onto the interior for this Trail Blazer. I would start carpets out. So carpets up, and then middle of the seats out. Okay. So typically I would take the compressed air, blow it underneath all the seats, all of these cracks. You can kind of see dirt and nastiness through all these. Blow them up, out. Here, same thing, up, out. Then if you fold these seats, up, out, and fold those seats too, get it all out of here. It already looks like you guys started doing that, and it looks great. So I would make sure it's all out, all of it's gone. And then, like I noticed you already started working on the trim. I would work on the carpets first. So shampooer, which we have, soak these with like degreaser. And we have carpet shampoo, but degreaser will do it. I'll soak all the stains, let them sit, but like really drench them. Okay. The carpet shampooer will clean all the fabric, all the carpets, everything easily. Okay. The deep stains are the only parts that I soak. So I would do seats shampooed, soak everything, seats shampooed down, seats shampooed out, and then carpets. Okay. And that's after blowing everything out, vacuuming everything out. Okay. And then your interior's done, and let it all dry, and then you can start working door jams, plastics, interior trims, because the doors are open, so you can start doing all this stuff while all this dries, do all the door jams. Okay. So you're essentially like going up from the bottom up, and then from the middle out. Okay. And then like all these things I would get. And a lot of it I use a degreaser and a rag. And it's that simple. And I would soak these areas and scrub them. You can vacuum them out, wipe them out. I usually wear gloves, have a bucket that we can keep like wringing out your water.
So when you shampoo it, do you have like a brush that you like to scrub it out?
No, so the shampooers have attachments on them. And you'll see like right there, that's pretty abrasive. So I don't usually need to scrub them. It's usually like an extraction. So you'll squirt it and you'll just suck it back up. All right, so for the Blazer, this was pretty rusty and crusty. We did a template on cardboard, right? Yeah. And then matched the angle of the tailgate. And then we actually got, like, this is aluminum ductwork, and it even has the overlap right here. So we overlapped the edge, slid it up, and then we epoxied it behind, riveted it, all the rivets, and now we seam seal the edge to keep it watertight. This is a wet paper towel, and I'm just gonna run it over just to smooth it out. It looks really, really good. Now we're also taping everything off so we can trim black everything. We're painting all the trim. The wheels, we ended up hand sanding to get smooth and get like a nice, decent finish. And then the interior is just like near perfect. The interior came out amazing. It looks so good in here. And there's a couple spots on the upholstery that we'll just use like some fabric paint. We'll just use some fabric paint and dust it on just to clean it up. The wheels look awesome. I think the body's gonna come out great, and that'll be the last thing we do. That wheel is the before. That wheel is the before. We'll fix this right here. And then like even a little bit of a stain right there. I'm gonna fabric paint that right now. And again, there's the aftermath for the wheel. Well, actually, it's not even clean yet. There's also a pretty good little stain on that carpet right there. I'm just gonna use some fabric paint and dust it over the carpet. I don't wanna paint the carpet because the carpet will get hard. But if you dust it on, it'll blend in and it'll look pretty darn good when I'm finished. So here's your before. Let's do this area right here. Now that the seat's back, so see how faded it is in here? I'm gonna spray circles. And it just makes it consistent again. That's it right there. And then we'll do that stain in the back seat. Now it blends. And you can check the carpet anywhere else. And then here's the after here. No more stain. And here's the after here. Everything's consistent. All right, we are ready to bring this plastic back to life. What I like to use is like a truck bed coating for lower panels. It puts a perfect satin sheen on the panels, and it looks amazing. So look at the front of this right now. That right there. And then give me 1 second, we'll do it again. I like to keep it kind of far away. It dusts on better. If you put it too close, it like runs because it's so, this is like a real thin, wet truck bed spray. And that right there is what I was using as a spray shield. Just makes it a little bit easier to paint. Now you can see I even put on a little too heavy because this stuff goes on like water. I put on a little heavy right there, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take an old rag and just blot it. That's it. That'll get all the extra right off of it. And that is your, like I did it while you were filming, while I was on a spray shield, and I tried to do it a little quickly. Take your time to do it and it'll come out a lot better. But that is kind of what it should look like. So there is the trim there. But if you look down here, the trim is really dull here and really dull in the back. So this is your before. When I was in college, I owned a painting company. I loved interior painting. It was calming for me. Bodywork is similar. So basically what you do is you sand it down, you put a body filler over it, patch it, sand it smooth again, patch it, sand it smooth again until you have a flush finish. Now this is rusty. I don't want to cover over rust because it will come right back. So I'm just gonna take a grinding wheel, wear safety glasses, even though I'm not wearing safety glasses, do as they say, not as I do. I'm just gonna grind it. I'm not gonna go like this because it's gonna get all this. I don't need to sand this, I just need to sand this. I'm gonna use the edge. And now you'll see there's no rust. Actually, there's a little bit up here still under the paint. So I went above the paint levels to make sure that there wasn't any rust that's gonna bubble later, like this right here. You can kind of see that that's bubbling. So even though that's painted, watch what happens. There was some rust right there. And then I'm just gonna grind this up. All right, now this will come back. Okay, that's like, rust is like cancer, so that is gonna come back. If you feel, now this isn't level, this is lower than the paint is, consists significantly. So I'm gonna put a rust reformer, like something that kills some rust on it. There's nothing you can do, it will come back one day. But I'm gonna kill it best I can, and then we're gonna use a body filler just lightly across the edge, sand it by hand, and keep going until it's flush and smooth. I would normally use like a dual action sander, but it's so small that you can do all this by hand. So we have some rust dissolver on this. It's like a gel, like a putty, nothing's gel. And just let it sit for a few minutes. It'll kind of kill everything, and then you can wipe it off, and then we can start doing the body work. We have some body filler right here, okay? You're gonna take a scoop of this. Actually, I'll just show you. This is actually Marglass, I'm almost out. But it's basically like a body filler that's reinforced by fiberglass. We don't need a lot of it. And because it's cold out, we're gonna need a lot more hardener than I normally would if it was summer. And take a little bit of Marglass, put it right here. We don't need a lot. I'm gonna put a little bit of hardener. So this mixes with the body filler. That's way too much, far more than I even need. Just gonna mix it around until it's all a uniform color. Now, I wouldn't use Marglass as my finish coat, but as a first coat, it'll work really, really well. The strands of fiberglass kind of reinforce it over just body filler that can tend to crack if you're using like a decent amount. So once it's one consistent color, we're done, okay? Now, let's go out there. All right, this is such a small area. Like if it was a bigger area, I'd go right across it like this. But it's a very small spot that we're filling. I don't even need this much. So I'm gonna get a lot of it off. And I'm just gonna hit it right there, okay? And then I'm just gonna go over it lightly, kind of get like a smooth, even coat. The smoother it is that it goes on, the less you have to sand. All right. That should be pretty good. I'm gonna let it harden just like that. Now, another tip, just to save these, if I grab this and I go like that and then fold it over, instead of less is more is better on this. It sticks, it hardens, and then it breaks right off the knife. So it saves your knife for the next time. I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna let it harden, then we can hand sand it. All right, you can't always touch the bodywork on your car to see if it's finished. So the best way to do it, I'll just touch the putty knife. And this is what I was talking about before. It keeps your knife clean by putting it all on there. And now I know that it's hard. I can go sand the car. I wouldn't normally hand sand, but this is such a low and small area that it's just gonna be easier to do it this way. I'm gonna go with the curvature of the body, just like this. If you do want to use a DA sander, DA meaning dual action, so it goes up and down. So if I put this here, it's actually gonna come up to like here. So you really have to be careful. So I'm just gonna take this slow speed. I can adjust it. I'm gonna keep it flat against the body. Flat against the edge too. This will give you a nice flat, even surface along the body line. Coat one done. Now I want you to just do a second coat with body filler, okay, instead of the fiberglass. And that should be all we need. All right, so the sun is perfect right now. And I had a feeling this blue was gonna come back the way it is. And just, wow. That is exactly what I thought this was gonna turn into. It looks amazing. Really, really great job. So the Trail Blazer is about 95% finished. There's a couple little scuffs on the corners that I wanna touch up. And when I paint anything with a spray paint can, I never go above the bumper. Anything I spray paint up here will be incredibly noticeable. So if I am gonna touch anything up with spray paint, it would be here or down, below the trim, nothing higher. You can't do it. It just is a complete eyesore. So I have a cabinet full of custom colors. So if you look in here, I just have blues and grays and reds, all kinds of colors, blacks and whites. I usually have a custom color to match the car, and I'm pretty sure I do for this Trail Blazer. Let's see if we can touch up a couple light areas like right here. Oh, all right. I don't think it really needs it anywhere else. This truck really came out beautiful. And now it's all done. Let's go take it for some photos and do a final walk around. So here it is. The sun is behind the clouds, so it's glistening perfectly for photographs. So I'm ready to take photographs and then list it up for sale. Look at how beautiful the engine bay came out. Now that 4.2 liter engine is a super strong, super reliable engine. Look at how great these headlights came out. The headlights are perfect. Oh, I have to touch that up right there. Look at the metal flake in the paint. Just like such a beautiful car now. I even have 2 keys, 2 remotes, and the original books and owner's manuals with it. But more importantly, people buy with their eyes. So they're gonna look at this and just see it glisten in the photos. So it's gonna look so great when I put this up for sale. Look at how nice these wheels came out. It has brand new tires on it. Like I said, when I bought this car, the tires are worth what I paid for the entire vehicle. And then we did brand new brake pads, rotors, some emergency brake hardware, emergency brake cable. This is how the rear came out. Like, respectable compared to what it was. And it overlaps too, so it's not, like, yeah, it's crusty in here, but it overlaps. So it's not terrible. The fabric came out beautiful. It has a third row seat. So we're talking a mid-size SUV that's four-wheel drive with a third row seat that is not a V8 going into winter. Look at how great the paint came out all the way down. I just had a feeling when I bought this thing it was gonna come out nice. Now we did dye the carpets. The carpets came out great. The seats, even better than I imagined. Now there is something that I still have to fix that I completely forgot about. It's gonna go in the garage one more time. Both the oil pressure gauge and the fuel gauge has kind of like gone past where it's supposed to be. So we're gonna pull the cluster out and repair both of those. Dash, perfect, no cracks, has a sunroof, has been inspected, has been serviced. So now we're into it for an oil change, rear brakes, and some miscellaneous other repairs, and then a week's worth of time for detailing. Now I could typically pay a detailer about $300, but they wouldn't do this good of a job. We actually spent a week's worth of our own time, like on hands and knees grinding wheels and shampooing and steaming and compounding and polishing. A lot of that was my team, not just me, so I have to give my team the credit where credit's due. They did all the hard work and I just kind of guided them along the way. This car came out amazing. So we paid an original, I think, $780 for this car. Normally it's something I would stay away from, but I just had a feeling like it was I just had a feeling that there was something about this car that was worth it, especially for under $1,000. If it didn't run, whatever, I lost barely anything. If it does run and it's clean like it is, then we're gonna make a 5X on this car. So we're into it for about $1,000 worth of actual parts plus manual labor. I am gonna list this thing for sale for $54.95 today. And to be quite honest with you, a 6-cylinder SUV, four-wheel drive, going into winter with 159,000 miles that can be inspected is worth $5 grand all day long. So we're gonna talk about possibly $4,000 profit on $1,000 investment plus our time, which is just amazing. This car came out so great and I'm so pleased with it. And thank you to my team for doing all the hard work and just letting me guide them along the way. Without them, I couldn't do it, and I wouldn't be able to do anything else if I was the one doing that. That's part of like being a business owner. You need to be able to delegate and rely on a crew, and luckily I have a great crew right now. So if this video was fun, informative, educational, thumbs ups don't cost you anything, and they're really appreciated because they really help our videos. So if you could hit the thumbs up right now, just go ahead, hit the thumbs up. Thank you so much for that. And if you like anything auto related, business oriented, car related, hit the subscribe button, and the bell will give you notifications every time we make a new video. So if you hit the bell, you get a notification. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all later. Adios.